Hello, my name's Al and today I'm going to show you how to fit lower gears to your bike. If you're struggling on the climbs, you might want to fit some lower gears to your bike. There's a couple of ways that you can do it. You could change your chain set or your chain rings. At the moment we've got a 5034 compact chain set on here, so there's not really anywhere to go. There is the option of fitting bigger sprockets on the back to give us a lower gear ratio. At the moment on here we've got an 1125 which gives a nice tight spread, but it's possible to fit a cassette with a 28 tooth first gear or a 32. If you want to fit a 32 and get a really nice low gear, then you are going to need to change your rear derailleur. You're going to need a GS rear derailleur in the world of Shimano, which will have a longer cage, which will give you the capacity to use all of your gears. So that's what we're going to show you how to do today. The components that you're going to need to do this are a new cassette, so we've got an 1132 cassette here, a GS derailleur with a longer cage, a new chain to match our shiny new cassette, and also because it's going to be a little bit longer. In order to remove our cassette and fit a new one, we're going to need an HG Lockring tool and a chain whip. For our chain, if you've got a link in your chain, like a missing link or a quick release link, then you're going to need some Masterlink pliers, such as these. You're going to need a chain tool to shorten your chain. For the cable, which you may need to replace or at least remove the end crimp from and fit a new one, you're going to need some cable cutters. And for setting up your new derailleur, you're going to need a Phillips No.2 screwdriver and some Allen keys, some grease and some paper towel or some rags. Right, let's get started. So if we remove this crimp from the cable, then we can undo the cable from the clamp. If we pedal, that will shift us down to the smallest sprocket at the back. We'll be able to remove our rear wheel, like so. We are replacing this rear derailleur. If you're only going up to an 1128, you should be fine, but for a 32 tooth sprocket, you will need that GS rear derailleur. Next, we're going to remove the chain. So this is a SRAM chain which has a quick link. We're going to need our Masterlink pliers to pop that open, like so. So our old chain out the equation. With the cable removed, we can remove our old rear derailleur. Just unscrew it, a 5mm Allen key, and then we can go about removing the cassette. We've covered this before, but just a quick run through. Remove your QR, hold the cassette stationary with your chain whip, and using your HG Lockring tool, crack the cassette open, unscrew it fully, and remove it from the freehub body. Give your freehub body a clean whilst we have the opportunity. Take your new cassette, line up the wide gap with the wide gap on your freehub body, and the sprockets should slide into place like so. Remove the final sprocket, fit that in place. Make sure it's located correctly and the splines are all lined up. Bit of grease on your lock ring. Screw it into place by hand only, just to make sure that the threads are properly aligned, and finish it off with your Lockring tool, and that needs to be tightened to 40 Newton meters. Just give it a quick spin just to make sure everything's lined up, nothing's gone on wonky. It's all good. Refit the wheel into the bike. Make sure it's in good and straight. And the quick release is done up nice and firmly. And we can now check our chain length, make sure we break the chain to the correct length. Shimano's recommended method of getting your chain length right when using a 28 tooth or above sprocket is as follows. Make sure your chain is orientated the correct way round. Some are directional with this Shimano chain. All of the writing is on the outside of the chain, so on the outer plates. And we're fitting the chain around the biggest sprocket and the biggest chain ring, so big. And we're checking the chain length and we're adding 2 additional links to what would be tight. So a link is a pair of inner plates and outer plates. That is about the optimal length, about as tight as it could be. And we're adding 1 link, 2 links. So we're breaking the chain here. So if you grab your chain tool, and you'll see that we'll be left here with a male link, so 2 inner plates on this end. Don't break the chain at the other end, has the female links there. Just leave those as they are and make for a more reliable connection. Drive the pin all the way through, remove the links that you don't need, and that will be the correct chain length for you to join with a Shimano joining pin. If you'd like to use a quick release link, then now would be the time to remove those female links. You won't need those at all. You need the chain to end in 2 male links. So inner plates on both ends. Drive those all the way through. You're effectively removing half a link, but you'll be adding half a link with your quick release connector. So now we have 2 male ends. We've just fitted a fresh cable to this bike. The old one was a bit frayed, a bit gammy. You may want to do the same. If you do, we have a video showing that, so please check that out. Next up, we're going to fit our new long cage GS rear mech. It's only required if you are going to go for a 32. If you think a 28 is enough, then you can fit that without having to replace your rear derailleur. So let's screw that into position. Should thread in really easily, so just make sure everything's aligned before you apply any force with the tool. If it doesn't screw in easily, then there's probably an issue that needs to be sorted before you carry on cranking away. Tighten that down and we can fit our chain, which we've previously cut to length. Make sure you've got it the right way round, going in the correct direction, and thread it through your rear derailleur, around the cassette, through the front mech, and around the chain rings. Then you're ready to join using your preferred method. In this case, we're using a quick release link. Just pop that into place. You'll probably find that you need to secure that by moving it to the top run of chain. Give it a little hack at the pedals and that will fasten it securely. Now everything's fitted, we're at the stage where we just need to set the gears up. So we have a video showing exactly how you need to set up your rear derailleur, but we're just going to run through that on the bike. That sets the range of the derailleur. Means that it won't overshift into the wheel or off the end of the cassette. Then we can attach our cable. If you wind your barrel adjuster all the way in, and then back it out a turn before securing it. Make sure you route it through the cable clamp correctly, otherwise it won't work properly. And we finish that off with the crimp. Next, we'll fine tune the indexing to make sure that each shift corresponds to one sprocket on the rear cassette. And the final adjustment is our B tension screw. And we run through all the gears and make sure it's shifting as it should. And that's all good, all set up, ready to climb some steep hills. Thanks for watching, see you next time.